Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have our WTA Cincinnati draw preview and prediction to get into. Absolutely stacked, and the best thing is the qualifying has finished. I have a small window in which to go through every single match, predict my winner, work our way through the draw, and ultimately I'll give you guys my champion. Before we do get into it though, we're going to talk about projected quarterfinals, and we're going to talk about the matchups as well as we work our way through them. Before we do get into it, though, remember to hit that like button. Do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Shout out to our members as well. We appreciate your contribution as always. Let's get into this. Projected quarterfinals: Sabalenka versus Keys. What a match that would be on these fast, hard courts in Cincinnati. Swiatek versus Anisimova. That would also be a really good one because it would be a rematch of the Wimbledon final. I'm sure Anisimova would like to put that Wimbledon final behind her and at least put on a good showing against Swiatek and get another bite of the cherry. I think for her, it would just be key trying to get on the scoreboard straight away, and that would relieve a lot of pressure to know that she's not going to get double bageled again. And she's been playing some really good tennis this year, as we know. Navarro versus Pegula is the other one, an All-American projected quarterfinal. And then Paolini versus Goff. Paolini not being in the greatest form, and neither has Goff, to be honest. So that'll be an interesting one. The reigning champion or defending champion is Arina Sabalenka. And as I mentioned on the ATP draw preview, historically, especially on the women's side, at least for the last 2 years, whoever's won Cincinnati has gone on to win the US Open. So this is a really important tournament going into the US Open. It's a very good indicator of who's going to be a title contender and who isn't. There are going to be some players that do really well in Cincinnati and don't do well at US Open and vice versa, but generally speaking, this is a pretty good yardstick. Sabalenka won it last year and then went on to win the US Open, of course. Coco Gauff won it the year before. She then went on to win the US Open, so there's a clear correlation. Okay, let's get into the draw then. So Sabalenka has a bye. Von Jusva to beat Christian for me. Olga Danilovic plays Katie Bolter. Danilovic, I think, on hardcore, I'm going for. Raducanu and Fernandez both have buys. Venus Williams, wildcard, plays Jessica Buzas-Monero. Buzas-Monero is an exciting young 22-year-old, but you know what? I'm going to go with Venus. On these fast, hard courts, she showed that she has something about her still in Washington. Big serve, big forehand. Yes, the movement is limited, but I feel like a win or two in Cincinnati is not out of the realm of possibility, depending on who she plays. Daniel Collins plays wildcard Taylor Townsend. I'm going with Collins there. Townsend, it would be a tricky one, but I'm going to go with Danielle. Samsonova has a bye, as does Rebecca, who just lost to Victoria Mboko in a semi-final. Very tight third-set tiebreaker in Montreal. Renata Zarazua versus Potenseva. Zarazua. And Gunu qualifier versus Baptiste. Mertens and Pavlyuchenkova both have buys. Elena Gabriela Rusev versus Ao Ito. You know, Ao Ito, she seems like a tricky player, so I'm going to go with her. Bernarda Pera versus Eva Lise. Pera's a wild card. We'll go with Eva Lise. She's been playing... Well, she's been playing the best tennis of her career this year. Yes, she's got a very big following on social media as well. And we interviewed her at Wimbledon. And she seems pretty down to earth, to be honest, just having fun with it. But form-wise, level-wise, she's been... This is her peak right now of her career. And yes, she can go on and kick on and do more. But what she's been able to do this year has been very impressive. So interesting to see what she can do now for the rest of this season. Keita and Swiatek both have buys. Potapova plays qualifiers Sigmund. Sigmund's a tough cookie. Will go Potapova. Sigmund, of course, made the semi-finals of Wimbledon. Narrowly losing to... Sorry, the quarterfinals of Wimbledon. Narrowly losing to Sabalenka. Osigwe qualified versus Tatiana Maria. Tatiana Maria is nightmare to play, but on hardcore, I don't think as much. So I'm going to go with Osagueya. Kostyuk and Freck both have buys. Kastea versus Vekic. Vekic for me. Hasn't been in the best of form this year, Vekic, but I'm banking on it to start finding some form. And Boko has a buy. Schneider has a buy. Alexandrova has a buy. Lulu Sun versus Antonia Ruzic qualifier. We'll go Lulu Sun. Maya joint. Greet Minute will go joint. Hadmea and Kanskaya both have buys. Peyton Stans beat Wang Yafan. Jean qualified versus Starodub Save will go Jean. Anisimova and Navarro both have buys. Paulina Kunamoto versus LS Seidel. Madison Inglis to beat Wildcard McNally. McCartney Kessler, even has a buy, as does Sophia Kenin. Good to see Sophia Kenin seeded at 24. Gracheva qualifier plays Katie Volinet's wildcard. I want to go Volinets. Sonia Cartel versus Carolina Garcia. Unfortunately, I think Cartel's play style is not the best for someone like Garcia to play against. It's going to be quite frustrating for Garcia to play against, if I'm being honest. Garcia, of course, is playing her last few tournaments before she retires this year. I found it quite surprising that she skipped Wimbledon. I'm trying to think if she would have got direct entry. Maybe not. But they would have surely given her a wild card. I don't know. I don't know where she was ranked at the time. I think she would have got entry. Chose not to play it by the sounds of it. And I'm not sure she'll play the US Open. I guess she's hoping for a wild card for that potentially. But yeah, I mean, she's not been playing much tennis. So, I mean, she's going to be happy and come out and just play. But I just think it's going to be tough. So I'm going to go Cartel. Mukhova has a buy, as does Towson, Tomjanovic, and Bondar Tomjanovic. Kudermatov to beat Lamens, Bencic, Linette both have buys. Dollar Hayden Shramkova. Shramkova and Dollar High. That's a good one. Shramkova. Kimberly Burrell and Blinkova. Pagula and Paolini both have buys. Rakimova qualifier versus Sakari versus Sakari. Sevastova to beat Bektas qualifier. Kruger buy. Noskova buy. Osaka has a buy, I'm assuming. She doesn't have a buy. She looks like she has a qualifier, but something filled out. Go to Osaka anyway. She's playing too well. She just made the final of Montreal, and she will play Victoria Mboko in the final. Alicia Parks and Krejcikova. Parks. I want to go Parks. She would have to play a really good level, but Krejcikova has not been playing great, so it's a winnable match. Svitolina and Kasakina buys. Bronzetti, Bronzetti, Osorio, Ujima, Ostapenko, Yashemska both have buys. Tomova qualifier versus Anne Lee will go Tomova. Wang Jinyu to beat Arango, and Goff has a buy. Goff has not been playing great, I have to say. She's been playing since that Roland Garros win. It has been a landslide, unfortunately, for her. It's been a real decline in level. Sabalenka Vondrousova. This is a tough one for Sabalenka because I think on these faster hard courts, Vondrousova doesn't have to do as much, especially with the balls as well, being the regular duty balls. The only thing I'd say is that it does mean that Sabalenka, if she's able to calibrate her swing, her power on this surface and with these balls, then she's going to be a real force. And she managed to do that last year. Given that she's a defending champion, given she's a US Open champion, and given how well she has been playing despite the lack of Grand Slams this year, I am going to go with Sabalenka. Raducanu Danilovic. This is a tough one for Emma, but she's been playing some really good tennis. Her record against lefties, I need to find out actually, because I'm quite interested in that. She uses angles really well. I think Danilovic might struggle with a Raducanu level at the moment, which has been pretty good. I don't think Danilovic has been playing her best. So just for that, I'm going to pick Raducanu. Leyla Fernandez, I think, will beat Venus. I think that's a tough one for Venus. Fernandez is very dogged, very physical, and I think she'll get the win. Daniel Connie and Samsonova will go with tough one. Samsonova, Rebecca to beat Zarazua, Mertens to beat Baptiste. No, but yeah, fine. Mertens to beat Baptiste, Pavlyuchenkova to beat Ayo Ito, Keys to beat Elise. I mean, just too much power. The problem with Elise at the moment, she's underpowered. So as soon as she comes up against someone like a Keys, it's very difficult with a serve and ground strokes to keep up. And we saw the same when she played Swiatek. Swiatek to beat Potapova. I'm talking Swiatek. Kostyuk to beat Osegwe. Vekic and Freck. I'm gonna go Freck. No, I'm gonna go quite. I'm not going to. I'm gonna go Vekic. I'm gonna go pretty big there. Victoria Mboko plays Schneider. I mean, look, this is a very tough first match for Mboko and for Schneider. Yeah, I don't know about this one. This is a tough one. Very tough. Given current form, you'd say Mboko, but I'm just wondering how she's going to feel. She's going to not just, I'm not even talking about physical fatigue, but I think the mental fatigue of playing at home, the emotions. Is she really going to be able to just pick herself up like this at 18 years of age and then just go again against another really talented young player in Schneider? I'm not sure. So I'm going to pick Schneider. Am I going to pick Schneider? No, not for now. I'm going to pick Mboko. Alexandrova to beat Lulu Sun. My joint and Helen Mayer. We'll go my joint. Kanskaya stands. We'll go Kanskaya stands. Seems like she prefers the clay, to be honest. John and Nisimova go Nisimova. Navarro, Seidel go Navarro. Kessler to beat Inglis. Kenin to beat Volinets. Mokhova to beat Cartel. Towson to beat Tomjanovic. I'm going to go big and go Kudermetova to beat Bencic. That's a big call from my side. Lynette and Shamkova Lynette. Blinkova, Pagula. Well, Pagula's not being great form. Paulini Sakari. I'm going to go Sakari here, actually. I fancy her to do better on these courts and conditions than Paulini. Kruger, Sevetsova. We'll go Kruger. Noskova, Osaka. It's a tough match for Osaka, second round. And again, how is she going to mentally and physically feel after that Canada Open final? She's never made a final since her comeback, and it's her first final at least in 3 years. No, sorry, it is her first final in 3 years because she made the Miami Open final where she lost to Swiatek in straight sets in 2022. I'm going to go with Noskova. I think she might lose early hip. I don't think it's going to necessarily affect the US Open chances, given how she's been playing in Canada. That's how I'm viewing it. Yeah, okay, I'll stick with it. Svitolina to beat Parks, Kasatkina to beat Bronzetti, Ostapenko to beat Osorio, Yastremska to beat Tomova, Goff to beat Wang Jinyu. I hope Osaka proves me wrong, though, because that'd be phenomenal if she does. So Sabalenka plays Raducanu now. This is interesting because this is a repeat of the Wimbledon matchup they had. Raducanu was a breakup in both those sets that she lost to Sabalenka eventually, 2 tight sets. I actually think in these conditions, Raducanu has a better chance of beating Sabalenka. I'm going to come back to this one, and in my head, I'll think about whether I want to put my neck on the line and pick Raducanu. Fernandez, Samsonova will go with Fernandez. Rebecca to beat Mertens. Keys to beat Pavlyuchenkova. Swiatek to beat Kostyuk. Mboko, Vekic. Go Vekic to beat Mboko. Alexandrova to beat my joint. No, my joint to beat Alexandrova. And Anisimova to beat Kanskaya. Navarro to beat Kessler. Mokhova to beat Sofia Kenin. Towson to beat Kudermetova. I'm going to go Lynette to beat Pagula. I'm not big on Pagula right now. Sakari to beat Kruger, I'm going to go with. Noskova, sorry, excuse me. Noskova to beat Svitolina. Kasakina and Ostapenko Kasakina. And Yastremska to play Goff. So Goff's first, oh my god, or second match, sorry, even, is against Yastremska, who knocked her out in the first round of Wimbledon. I think these conditions are slightly more suited, though, for Goff's game in comparison to Wimbledon. In saying that, I still do not have much faith in Goff's game right now. So for that very reason, I'm going to go with Yastremska. She's just struggling for form, and I need to go back because Sabalenka Raducanu I still haven't picked. So I really go with Raducanu. I just think it's a crazy. It would be a crazy pick. It really would be. I mean, Raducanu played lights out and still lost in straight sets to Sabalenka at Wimbledon. The conditions are more suited, I have to say, though, to Raducanu's game. But Sabalenka is also just so good on hard court, though. So I'm not sure actually. They're definitely more suited for Raducanu specifically, but hard court is just also more suited to Sabalenka. So I think it probably evens out. So we'll go Sabalenka. Sabalenka. Oh man, so we would potentially have gotten a Raducanu Fernandez rematch of that US Open 2021 final if she were to beat Sabalenka, but I'm saying she's not going to. And I'll go with Sabalenka to beat Fernandez. Rybakina and Keys. Rybakina, Swiatek, Vekic, Swiatek. And this to beat joint. Navarro to beat Muchova. Towson to beat Lynette. Towson's been playing some really good tennis. I've been very impressed in the last few months. Noskova to beat Sakari. Kasakina to beat Yastremska. Okay, so it gives me quarterfinals of Sabalenka and Rybakina. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. Sabalenka Rybakina. What? I had to think about that one. Swiatek and Isamova. It's one we all wanted. Yeah. I'll go Swiatek. Navarro Towson. I'm going to go Towson, actually. Clash of styles there. Noskova Kasakina. I'm going to go quite big on Noskova here and go Noskova. Then Rybakina Sabalenka. Rybakina has always been a difficult one for Sabalenka. She finds it very tricky to play against. I'm trying to think about this one. This is a difficult one because I need to think about the surface more than anything. Sabalenka. I mean, how would she fare against Rybakina given she hasn't played much tennis? The head-to-head is 7-4 in favour of Sabalenka. How many times have they played on hard court, though? On hard court, they played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. So they've played 8 out of the 11 matches they've been on hard court. Rybakina has won 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So there's 4 all on hard court. Great. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. Is the honest answer. I'd hope that Rybakina is going to be super motivated though in this match because of that loss to Victoria Mboko. Sabalenka will also have a lot of motivation though after the break. I'm going to go Rybakina. I'm going big. Then I go Rybakina Swiatek. I'm going to go Rybakina to beat Swiatek and Towson to beat Noskova, which leaves me with the Rybakina Towson final. Wow. That'd be a good final, wouldn't it? Big hitters from the back of the court, big serving. bit of dynamism as well in their games. And I'm going to go Rybakina to win Cincinnati. Let me know in the comments what you think and why. Who do you think is going to win? Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video.